Hello and welcome to Last Tequila Standing. We are here with Christina and Arthur Rodriguez of 1933 Spirits and founders of Casa Tequila. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
Well, I got a chance to talk to both of you in depth about your tequila, and you have such an interesting story and history behind it. Can you tell us about how it got founded and the history behind your tequila?
Sure. Yeah. My grandfather had a cattle ranch that he had from his father, and he had about 100 cows and horses, and he would tend to them throughout his entire life. Even when he moved to the States, he would go back half the year and tend them. When he passed away, my dad inherited his land, and to commemorate the memory of his father, he started planting this blue agave with the help of his mother, who passed a year later, and eventually turned into this project of doing something to honor our roots, but it's also something that we can give to the future generations of our kids. My father was an immigrant, came to the States when he was about 12, and worked every day of his life ever since. I don't think he's taken a day off yet.
It's a hardworking family.
Very hardworking.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was really interested by your story. So both of you have a great business background, Christina, and Arthur. You were in the bartending industry and
Yes.
an artist. So how did this all come about? Where you finally sat down as a family and you were like, we're gonna do tequila.
Well, as a family, we went into the agave growing business in 2000. As far as envisioning our own product of tequila, that didn't come into the picture till 5 or 6 years later, when we decided to just go at it full throttle and come up with Mi Casa. But at that time, I was 2000, I was 18, she was in her early 20s. Both really had radical ideas of what we wanted to do with our lives, where we wanted to travel. So
Yeah.
we have our very own distinctive lives outside of tequila.
Right.
But it did come to a decision where in 2005 or 6, we really knew that tequila was going to be our future for at least a significant part of our lives. So as a family, we did sit down and agree, like, if we do take this venture, do we all agree to give it all we got? And of course, that was done over a family dinner, and we did, and we do.
And you do give it all you got. I mean, Christina, you were telling me about a story of your mom. She's so hardworking that you said there's even pictures of her, and we'll show those, of her covered in mud at the inception of your tequila, ranching, because she's so well involved.
We're all very passionate about our project, this tequila. My mom, I love that picture. I love that picture. She's literally we caught her when she was taking off her boots, and she's bending down, and she's in mud to here, and she has a yellow suit on, and she's all geared up, and that's because she was just quality control on the ranch, and she didn't trust anyone to do her job except for her, and make sure it was done the way she wanted it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has that perfectionist in her. So.
Well, you can tell by the packaging on the bottles. I mean, I really like the look. It goes along kind of with what you're wearing, actually, Arthur. Very old style look.
Thank you.
And we have all three. We have the Blanco, the Reposado, and the Añejo.
We do.
How did the bottle and the label and everything come together? You're an artist, so you said you designed
So I drew the label. My dad told me, Arthur, I want a hacienda with some palm trees and a fountain. So with that amount of rigid information to go on, there was probably about 30 variations of that label before he says, yeah, you're getting there. So eventually it just became, it became this. We have some pictures of our agave on there from our real fields. This oak tree on the back is where my father and his siblings used to barbecue with their father. On the side is a little story for my sister and I. And in this little house, there's an E and an R, and it's kind of hidden on the side label, but that's my father's initials, and his father's initials is also what they brand the cattle with over there on their ranch.
very family oriented. So, what are people saying about your tequila? You just launched this June. And already we're getting some great feedback. I mean, you're in the Bay Area, you're in restaurants, very grassroots type of story and marketing.
Yeah, so my sister and I, we built this company behind bartenders and mixologists. We have a bartending background. We know our spirits well. And even as a family, we've always been one to enjoy fine wine and cocktails. So we went into this venture with a very discriminating palate. We make sure that what Mi Casa is something that we want to drink at the end of the day. So in a way, we cater to our own flavor. People say about our Blanco, it's an unaged Blanco, and they feel that it's very pure, very soft, very silky, a little bit like hot peppermint. Very sippable on its own. Fantastic in a cocktail because it is very sweet naturally, which makes it great because you don't need to add a lot of sweeteners in your own cocktails.
And speaking of the sweet, you have a Highland tequila, which what you were explaining to me is different than a lowland tequila. Christina, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. So lowland tequila tends to be tequila that comes from an agave piña under 2,000 feet. And what that translates to is an agave piña that grew in soil that has a lot of volcanic sediment in it, which ultimately produces an agave piña that is more herbaceous and dry, and lower in sugar. Whereas a Highland tequila, because the nutrients of the soil vary so much and are richer in iron, the agave piña tends to be a lot sweeter, just be bigger overall, which translates into a sweeter tequila once the spirit's in the bottle.
Yeah, which makes it for probably a popular selection in the United States because we have a sweet tooth over here.
Yes, it's true. People are always pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
We give them the tequila and they feel that they need a lemon or they need what they're familiar with to drink it, but then we encourage them not to do that, to really enjoy and savor it, and they're always smiling at the end, and it's a new experience for them, and we're happy to be a part of this tequila revolution. Totally.
And so we have the añejo here. Is that the right?
That's
a reposado. Okay.
This one it's aged 10 months in white oak American bourbon barrels. The casks we get are from Heaven Hills, which makes bourbons like Elijah Craig whiskey. And then we have the same spirit aged 30 months in the same cask. I believe that this one is my favorite. It's the one that I drink the most of. It just really hits home with me. It's to me, it's the perfect balance of something that's light on your mouth, but also just enough sweetness to make you comfortable sipping on. And the añejo I love as well. I actually switch between these two a lot, and then I throw this one into the cycle, depending on the mood. But the añejo itself I love because it is very buttery without being too bold and without being too sweet.
So when we do talk to bartenders, we let them know that because of the high sugar content, naturally occurring in our plants and it translating into a sweeter tequila, a lot of cocktails, you don't need the extra sweetener, and so we point that out to them so that when they craft their cocktails, they already know that.
And that's exciting because that makes for less of a hangover, right?
Yes. It's the added,
it's the added sugar that gives a hangover.
We're not saying that it's a sweet tequila, super sweet tequila.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't need as
don't
much
need to add
sweetener.
anything.
You just don't get too trigger happy with the agave syrup or the simple syrups with these cocktails. A little bit complements perfectly.
And your tequila is being featured as a house tequila. I mean, this is so exciting. A lot of tequilas are one among many in restaurants and bars, but you actually have a house tequila that's it's being featured as a house tequila. So
we are.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, we're being featured as the house tequila at Joseph Benzari's Etchel, which is a new restaurant in San Francisco in the financial district, which specializes in sushi and tequila.
That's an interesting pairing, sushi and tequila.
So, which is also interesting, because Joseph Benzari goes back to Mexico and he fell in love with the culture, and he also loves, this little place he found in Guadalajara where there's these Japanese families that are selling these goods in this Mexican shop.
That's where the name came from.
That's where he got this idea for it all. But anyway, he loves Mi Casa, and we're on 3 items on their menu. We're their house margarita, and we're on a Highlands flight, and we're also in what they call a 7-spice margarita, which uses the Blanco as well.
So we're on 3 cocktails on their menu, which is exciting.
Nice. And you can get the recipe for the 7-spice margarita on your website. Is that available?
That is not available on our website, but it will be shortly.
Coming soon. And,
tomorrow.
And then what's the future for your tequila for Mi Casa? What's coming up that's new and exciting for you guys?
So we got a couple exciting things with Mi Casa. We have a charity event that we're coming up with. It's going to be a San Francisco only type thing, but it's a large scavenger hunt. It's going to raise money for 3 separate charities, and it's also going to provide Christmas money for 3 lucky individuals. The future of Mi Casa very much has to do with the future that my sister and I want to take the company, and of course we want to we've been so blessed. We'd love to give some of that back to the community. And we also, as far as the spirit industry goes, we'd like to take this in ways that tequila typically doesn't go, as far as maybe producing some limited edition casks available to the public, or fusing some beer style distilling into our mix. But those are we plan on doing some fun things with tequila.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see what is the future for both of you. So congratulations on your launch.
Thank
and,
you.
I can't wait to try. I got a recipe, a personal recipe, so I'm going to try that when I take a home a bottle. So what is the name of your website?
Our website is micasatequila.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you
Christina
very
and
much.
Arthur.
Thank you.
Fantastic.